Welcome everybody to an exciting session on new startup ideas. I think we always on this channel wanted to cover not just technology, but some of the interesting, innovative ideas, and we also wanted to meet the founders. So this time we are going to talk about a very interesting, testy idea called as Fruiter, and the person behind the idea is none other than Prasad himself. Hi, Prasad.
Hi.
Yeah, hi. So on this channel, let's get started. I'm Samir, and we of course have Prasad with us. And my first question, Prasad, to you is: what is this Fruiter all about?
Yeah, interesting. Actually, it's very interesting idea. Actually, if you really see, it's very simple. Basically, what we really do is we take real good quality fruits and we simply dehydrate them. So instead of having real fruits, you can have a dehydrated version of fruits. So Fruiter is nothing but dehydrated fruits, as simple as that. So not dry fruits, it's a dehydrated fruits. So what I mean by that is we take fruits, we make their slices, and we simply remove the moisture inside the fruit. So what we simply have, like once we take the water inside that fruit, then what we have is the pure the fruity part of that. So
Correct.
it's like like a butter from milk. So in fact, Fruiter word actually came from that. So from fruit, what we have is something like Fruiter. That kind of thing. So literally the extract part of it. So all water is removed, and then we have a simple dehydrated version to its best vanilla form. So you can just eat it as it is. So we have dried mangoes, we have dried bananas, then pineapple, apple, and so on and so forth. So we're fairly successful in these parts. So what you have is a simple dehydrated fruit slices which you can enjoy. So it could be during breakfast, or you can just eat it like snacks, or you can combine it with desserts like ice cream, milkshakes, etc.
Okay, that's very interesting, and I think it definitely sounds very different. And
Yeah.
I'm sure it is very tasty because I have tested it myself.
Yeah.
So definitely that it is.
I will
But
send a
with
new product soon to you. Yeah. It's coming in next couple of
waiting
weeks.
for that. Yeah, but the most interesting part for me and for all our viewers would be: how did you reach here? Where did this idea originate, and how did you start with this idea and reach the stage of Fruiter?
Yeah. Okay. See, basically, this overall drying fruit is a very common thing. Like typically, if you go to our villages and maybe any farmers, they are drying vegetables, they are drying fruits, and then it is there for a good amount of time. And not only in Indian culture, in Western culture also, for preserving fruits or even meat or a vegetable, this drying process is very, very common. But the challenge in the traditional methods are either they dry it in sunlight most of the time, or maybe in a modern time there may be commercial dryers where vegetables or fruits are dried. The challenge with both these methods is basically you can't control the overall drying process. So it may just dry within 1 hour, and then during the whole process, then it may lose its important nutrients. So that's the basic challenge. So what we really do is we try to dry the fruit at a room temperature and also in a shadow. So it doesn't expose to the sunlight. Then it tries to preserve its nutritional contents. So that's the beauty of it. And plus it's in a controlled environment. So it is not exposed to the environment. So it is not exposed to sunlight. It is not exposed to dust and so on and so forth. So it's almost like your real fruit, but without water. So this particular idea actually came during one of our software project which we were working for our US customer. That US customer was in food processing industry, and then they were using different processing techniques for preservation of food. I don't remember exactly, but I think it was for vegetables. And then at that time, what we realized that if we can use, can we not use this kind of technology for our own purpose, not necessarily only in software, because we were responsible only for the software part of it. So that's where that idea of doing something different, doing something in food was born. And then we started reading different university papers and what different we can do, and that's where we came across these drying or dehydration process. But then solar dryers were there for a good amount of time. So what we were actually looking out for something which should be different, and then which will ensure that those nutritional values are protected. And then we also should not add anything into the fruit, because the best way to preserve fruit is to add any preservative. So it could be sugar,
Correct.
or it could be some other preservative. But then that's not what we were looking into. So what we wanted is fruit in its purest format, without any preservative, without any sugar. So anybody can simply enjoy it without worrying about additional sugar, etc. So that was our main objective, and that also we should do it in a best possible manner, so that the overall, the entire taste is preserved as far as possible. The texture and the color is preserved, and so on and so forth. So that's how it all started.
Started, yeah, okay, yeah. So very interesting journey, and the way the idea really struck to you, and of course the other founder Vivek, right?
Yeah,
to both
yes,
of you.
yes.
Yeah. But what has been like, bugging me is like, you are a computer engineer, right? Been into software for ages. Vivek has a very different business, right? And then you're talking about fruits farming and possibly a thermodynamics technology or something like that. So how did that happen basically?
Yeah, actually, interestingly, because we were not very familiar with it, that's how our interest started. But when we started actually reading different papers, and what we realized that there is a lot of technology behind it. So it's not as simple as that, as you take a fruit, slice it, and just dehydrate it and dry it. What we realized that the whole process is not as simple as it looks or as it sounds, but there are lots of things which can go wrong. Like, for example, what we realize is that we can't dry or dehydrate fruit at a very fast pace or at a very slow pace. It has to be just right. So our first task, actually, we wasted a lot of fruits, believe me, for almost more than a year. And in fact, our family members used to wonder, "Arey, every day they are bringing fruits, and what is happening to that? Like, they are not coming inside inside house." So we are trying different things. And then what we realized, that the process of drying, it takes about 14 to 16 hours. And then there are lots of things which changes during that process. And then that's where our software knowledge really came into picture. So what we realized, that we had to monitor the entire process in a detailed manner. And then so we created our first prototype machine, and then started monitoring using different sensors. So basically, in fact, there was a bit of a IoT to begin with. So we started monitoring the temperature, the RH part, the relative humidity part, because that's what really makes or breaks the overall dehydration process. And then the weight of the fruit. So we used to monitor these three parameters. Then we used to dump these parameters on a cloud, and then analyze the charts, like how exactly the process is happening. So when the speed is fast, when the speed is low, and then whether it is drying at the correct expected speed or not. So a lot of technology was used in monitoring those sensors. And then slowly, based on that data, then we gave feedback to our manufacturers. They helped us to fine tune our machines. So from a software point of view, yes, so probably there were no user interface, that kind of software, but a lot of software had to be written to capture all that data, put it on the cloud, and analyze it, and so on and so forth. So that's where a good amount of software was used, even if our initial intention was not that. Yeah. And then from my partner's perspective, he's a chemical engineer, and then he knows thermodynamics and this air conditioning systems, and so on and so forth. So from a technology point of view, he was very much familiar. So the main challenge was that whatever we were reading from the university papers, just to get based on those specifications, get the machine manufactured from the local manufacturer. That was our biggest challenge. Because first, the size was very small, so naturally the manufacturers are not very interested when you have one of the machine which somebody wants to really play with it. So we had to literally, go to different MIDCs, talk with people, and try to convince them like why we need this kind of thing. First, they were not really, ready to believe like we are really serious in doing anything of that sort. But ultimately, a gentleman from Mumbai actually helped us to design our airflow system. And then that's where from POC we went to a pilot part. So to give you a quick perspective for any of the fruits, right from cutting fruits to actual dehydrated end product, it takes about 14 to 16 hours depending upon the season. So maybe during the dry season, let's say typical in Pune's weather, from October to December, the process is much faster, and then it's in a much controlled manner. But typically during rainy season, the air humidity levels are high, so it takes more time and more energy. But overall, it's a slow process, about 16 to 18 hours.
Correct. And once the fruits come out, the fruiter element comes out essentially. Then what is the longevity of that, that fruit basically?
Yes. Actually, if we see the overall the material which is available on the internet, so the moment we remove most of the water from it or the moisture from the fruit, then you can keep it into a sealed glass jar, and then it may, it can remain at a normal room temperature at least for a month or so, without really taking any extra care. But if you want to sell it commercially in the market, then that packaging is also a very crucial stage. So that's where we actually collaborated with a couple of more people who helped us to package those fruits in such a manner so that they can be preserved very easily for about a year. Right. So we did all those testing. We packed those fruits in a nitrogen and carbon dioxide kind of an environment. So we had a box. Okay. And then we induced 80% nitrogen and 20% carbon dioxide. And then we kept those boxes almost for a year just to ensure that no growth is happening inside. And then at the end of year, we got it tested and then validated, is there any growth? Is there any biological growth, or is there any fungus or whatever is happening? And then, fortunately, nothing happened in that. And then because we are worried, because it has if something happens, then we'll come to know only at the end of the year. So we were not really keen in going in an accelerated manner. Yeah.
Okay. So in fact, there must be some certifications, validations around this.
Absolutely.
How do you package and
yes. Actually, there is a standard. Yes. There are standard norms which are given by EFSA. So if you have if you are manufacturing dried fruits, then how much moisture content should be there, how they should be packaged, and so on and so forth. So there are standard norms which are there. But as we were not from that particular industry, we had to take guidance from experts into this industry. So fortunately, we got help from multiple people who gave us guidance about how to apply for those norms, how to apply for those certifications, which are the labs which will actually give us the exact readings and help us to understand even those readings. See, that was also a challenge because they used to talk into a standard scientific data like about the fungus and different biological growths. And then initially we were not able to understand anything out of it. It was like a Greek and Roman for us. So to understand those reports, also we took people's help. So, and then at the end of the day, what we realized that it's not just you have to package it and forget about that. You have to continuously keep a track of it, whether is it any internal degradation is happening or not. So we actually followed two paths. So some of the packets we used to open at a regular interval and get them tested. So maybe some packets we got them tested at the end of 2 months. Then that other packet we got it tested at the end of 4 months. And certain packet we got tested at the end of the year. So it was manufactured on the same day, but they tested at a different time interval. So that helped us to understand how the degradation is happening or how good our packaging is. So overall, what we realized that this nitrogen and carbon dioxide packaging, it worked really well. And then we are able to preserve almost for a year.
Right. Okay, fantastic. And so now that you have this basic raw product, the fruit, the real meat of the fruit, from there, how did you arrive at different product ideas? What would customers like and what exactly are you selling? And then of course, how exactly are you selling?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Honestly, we are still in a discovery phase as far as that part is concerned.
Correct.
But what we are actually trying to do is we try to sell pure fruits, dehydrated fruits using pure e-commerce channel as well as talking with the shops. See, the main challenge for dehydrated fruits is, if I take, let's say, 1 kg of apple, and if I dehydrate it, so probably the end result could be just 100 grams. So, so the output is very, very small. So now you can see the per grammage cost is very, very high. So that was the biggest challenge for us to, justify in the market. It's a miniaturized or it's a zipped version. So that's why, the grams are low. the actual fruit contents are the same as what it was. So that was,
Correct.
that was the biggest challenge in convincing people. Look, like it is not extremely costly. What you get is the real, without water you are actually eating a fruit. So it's as good as eating a, so even if you eat maybe 20 grams or 10 grams of apple, it is like almost eating an entire apple. So that was a very difficult thing to explain. Now we find it comparatively easier, like explaining it to people. But I think that was the initial challenge which we faced. And in fact, it is not good also to eat 100 grams of dehydrated fruit at one go. Actually, it's not advisable.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
So that is one level of a product. Second level, then what we realize that having only fruits may not really. There is a certain segment of customers who may not like to eat only fruit. They may like to have some derived product using that. So that's when we started talking with people like who can use our product and then create any derived product using it. So it could be granulas which people can eat it for a breakfast. Or we also created a trail mix out of it. So our dehydrated fruits, the dry fruits like cashews and almonds, etc., and then some seeds. And so we created a mixture, and then that you can use it as an office snack or maybe during trekking and so on and so forth. So we created granulas and then this trail mix. Now we are also creating fruiter ladus, actually, which we call it as purudus. And then that what we are trying to do is our whole focus is without adding any sugar into it. So even those ladus are going to be without any sugar. So entire the sweetness will come from these fruits. So there is a load of fruits, and then the other material is just going to be supporting for that. So the entire philosophy is going to be the taste should come from fruit and not from the sugar or any additional elements. So even if we do any derived products, that is going to be our guiding principle.
Yeah. So there's a bit of a healthiness and health focused food also, behind.
Yeah, absolutely.
That. Okay, so this has been a exciting journey even for me to even listen to, Prasad, and I think it's great to see you and Vivek coming from a very techie backgrounds, right, and running businesses, being into the job cycle for some time. You combined with your love for farming and some little background of farming, and then your love for being health and sports and being conscious about that, and of course eating liking about eating. So you combine all this and created a very interesting and testy business idea. I think that's great. I'm sure others will be very keen to understand, keen to hear what you have said so far. So any final words for our viewers?
Yeah, sure. So we are already online and we are selling our products. So my request to all our viewers to try our product and give us feedback, and also share, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, so that you will come to know about the new products, exciting products which we are going to come in coming festive season. So that's the common thing which any of the any selling company will appeal to. But apart from that, what I will also like to add is this is not just we are developing a product and which we are trying to sell. Actually, our interest is a little bit beyond that. So our interest is how we are now developed a technology. We have understood the entire process. So probably there could be more applications of that. So if any of our viewer they have any idea which they feel that we can work together and then take it to the next level. So maybe if they are a farmer, they already have an access to large vegetables or maybe fruits, etc. Then maybe we can do something jointly, or we can give them technology know-how and then they can do it themselves. So we are very open and keen for collaborations for this.
Yeah, fantastic. I think it's great to hear in that second part as well, Prasad. So yeah, this is good. So again, to all our viewers, I hope you have enjoyed this session, like I did. And like we always said, I think on this session, this channel will be bringing you many such interesting ideas. You will be meeting innovators and founders and understand the technology, a lot about technology as well in many of the other sessions. And not just that, we also mentioned to you that we will try to bring the investors and the VCs, basically the guys who can guide you, me, and everybody else in terms of how they take decisions in terms of investing and learn from them, take advice from them, right? So that's the intention of this channel. Do subscribe to this channel. Do go through the content that we'll be adding soon, as part of the description in this channel. And stay tuned.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah. Thanks. And I would like to add one Sabir now, more from the channel perspective, is if any of the viewer, if they have any technology which they will like us to cover, or any interesting startup if they have come across, and if they feel that we can cover in this, then we'll be very, very much interested to hear about.
Definitely,
about
that is the objective. Absolutely, you said it right. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Bye.